confidently. Confidently means when you look at a question, you should be able to think about its intro, what will be its body, and what will be its conclusion. If you need to think, write it comfortably, you should target at least 100 marks per hour. Whereas in your school or in your college, you would have only wrote a maximum of what? You would have only wrote a maximum of 100 marks in 3 hours. Here you have to target 100 in 1 hour if you need to afford the luxury of thinking what should be the intro, the body, and the conclusion. So learn to write fast from day one. Very, very, very important. Online, I know there are a lot of advantages to the students. You can keep asking your doubts in between the class. You can type it. Faculty has to answer it. But in an offline class, what happens is the faculty is not, when the faculty is dictating the note, generally the faculty won't be disturbed with any questions. So what happens there is the students have no choice but to keep writing as fast as possible. So offline students, one advantage what they have over the online students is they start writing fast from day one. Your competition is with them also. So you, even though you're sitting in the comforts of your home, घर में आराम से बैठ रहे हो, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आराम से you will do everything. You will try to write as fast as possible. Current affairs linking with PubAd, I will do it. That is not a big deal here. Current affairs linking, I will do it. But that does not mean you don't have to read the newspaper. You have to read the newspaper irrespective of whether I link it or not. Why? You need it for GS2, you need it for GS3, you need it for your essay, you need it for your interview. And whichever optional subject it is, you have to try to link it with your course material. In the initial few days, I will help you out with how to link it and all. But eventually, you have to make it the habit of doing it. Clear, people? So, now let us take our discussion forward. What are the definitions of administration? Simple things we will deal with first. Now, the quotes Pfeiffer and Prestes, L.D. White, Herbert A. Simon, E.A. Negro, all these different people have defined PubAd in different way. Each one of their definition, if you see, you will find a lot of similarities and a lot of differences. So what is the result, ultimate result? It is difficult to define public administration. Because is it only the government? Or you tell me, what do you think is public administration? Let us take it up that way today. You tell me what you think is public administration. You give me the definition of it. According to you. First day's class, we will take it a little slowly. Eventually, we will improve our tempo. No answers. You all have opted for public administration. So some idea should be there, right? What is public administration? Management of public. Organization, how organs of the state work. Pranav, if it was management of public, then it should have been public management, right? We wouldn't call it administration. Vaibhav Singh is asking, is it organization? Which organization? Prince Praful Maheshwari, that is the closest definition. How organs of the state work. Very close. Rashmi Rekha, implementation of government policies, services, programs by officials. Very close. Pranav Chak, management of public by public programs or policies. Okay, now I can take it. People collectively managing the government organization. Okay. Policy formulation for public welfare. Ashish. So Ashish has said policy formulation. Rashmi Rekha has said policy implementation. Now the next question comes. So tell me who makes policies in the country? Which organization makes policies in the country? Which organ makes policies in the country? Means of cooperative effort by group of people in order to achieve a common objective. That is a textbook definition. Legislative. Okay. Legislative. Legislature. Legislature will be the correct usage. Correct. So legislature makes the laws. Legislature makes the laws. Agreed. Legislature. I was waiting for that. Ashish, do you really think government is the one who will make the law? Lawmaking power actually rests with the parliament or the state legislative assembly. That is the reality. Whatever law I want to make, even as a government, I cannot make it by myself. I should put it as a bill. The bill should be introduced in the parliament. उसके बाद there should be debate discussion. लोकसभा या राज्यसभा introduce करो, debate हो जाओगे, discussion हो जाओगे, then goes to Rajya Sabha or then it goes to Lok Sabha. Depends. Both the houses should pass the bill. Then once it is passed, the president should give the assent. Then only the bill becomes an act. That is a law. Otherwise, it is not a law. Clear? If law making is the job of legislature, then what is the job of executive? What is the job of executive? Very good, very good. Ordinance, Vaibhav, that is an exception. Ordinance also, if you know, ordinance has only a validity of 6 months, within which once the parliament comes into session, it has to be passed by the parliament. So ordinance is only the lawmaking power, an exceptional lawmaking power of the government, which can be used only in extraordinary circumstances, not as a general rule. Implement, enforcement, execute. True. So executive or government's job is basically to ensure law implementation or execution. Then automatically the next question comes. What is the role of the judiciary then? What is the role of judiciary? Keeps check on both. Absolutely correct. That is the simplest way of putting it. That is exactly holds the executive and legislature accountable, checks validation. Ashish, more than validation, I would say judiciary keeps a check on what type of laws are passed by the legislature. Judiciary keeps a check on how the law is being implemented by the executive. That is the purpose of judiciary. Correct, Pranav. That's absolutely correct way of putting it. Keeps a check, protector of the constitution, ensuring the fundamental rights are not violated, ensuring that laws are followed. All of this. Now tell me, in this, which is public administration? Where is public administration here? Is it with legislature? Is it with judiciary? Is it with executive? All. Lipika has gone for all. Abhinav also has gone for all. Ashish has gone for executive. Prince, all the three. Universal set, Vaibhav. Abhinav Kumar, like coordinate. Coordinate as in? Mainly executive. Actually, let me put an example to you now. Legislature passed a law. All right. Electoral bond scheme. Law was passed. Government implemented it. Went to the judiciary. Judiciary struck down the law, calling it is unconstitutional. And now it is no more there. Now can you tell me, where is public administration now? With this example, tell me now, where is PubAd? Is it with legislature? Is it with executive? Or is it with judiciary? It is all the three. But does it end there? That is the next question. Does it end there? Second example. The Adani group, blue highlighted area is just to show the overlap between, that is, some areas are there where legislature and executive overlaps. Some areas are there where executive and judiciary overlaps, where legislature and judiciary, executive and judiciary also overlaps. That we will see later. That is for paper 2. This is the Indian system basically. Indian system where you are having legislature, executive, judiciary, all working in close cooperation with each other. That we will see. In your polity also, you will see it eventually. That, oh, forgot to tell you that other part. One advantage of taking public administration as your optional is 80% of your GS2 mains paper syllabus will get covered. Few topics here and there of 3 and 4 also. 3 also will get covered, because if you have visited the syllabus, you will see there are 2 topics or 2 chapters on economics also in public administration. So most of the economic basics also will have to be doing it here. Clear? Now, my next $1 million question is Adani Group is actually part of the a redevelopment project for the Dharavi slum area, Mumbai. All right, they are part of that government project. They are the ones who are developing that project to redevelop the Dharavi slum area, Asia's largest slum. It's a private player. So, private player is involved in a slum development project. So, doesn't that mean, just a minute. Exactly, even ethics too. So, public administration involves organs of the government, legislature, executive, judiciary, plus private player. Correct? Private players are also involved. Government is taking the help of private player also to help them in governance. Everything government alone cannot do it, right? So they will take the help of private players. So this is also public administration, right? Correct? Adani Group is redeveloping the Dharavi slum. So automatically private player is also involved in what? Public administration. Is this correct or not? Tell me. Correct, public private partnership. That is a perfect way of putting it. I don't want to throw too many technical words on the first day of our class. That is the reason why I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, people. So, private player is also involved. Definitely, only with the permission of the government. It is not that Adani can barge into the office and say, I will develop a Dharavi slum. No. Government will call the tender and government will choose a player, and accordingly the thing will be done. So, private player is also there. Then there is an NGO called Pratham that prepares the annual school education report. Annual school education report. This report is provided to Government of India. What is Pratham? An NGO. They basically, what they do is they will visit the schools in the country, find out how many teachers are there, what is the quality of the knowledge that the students have, how are the facilities, etc., and they will prepare a report. That report is submitted to the Government of India, and Government of India, based on that report, they frame policies for school education. So that automatically means NGOs are also involved. Can only a private company from PABAD? I didn't understand your question, Pranav. NGOs are also involved here. So, what it is then? Is it legislature? Is it executive? Is it judiciary? Is it private? Is it NGO? In today's term in today's world, public administration is a very broad concept. Any organization or an individual that provides goods or services to the public which will benefit them. Goods or services for the public which will benefit them. The administration of that, the management of that, all of that is public administration. So NGOs are involved, private players are involved, government organs are involved, judiciary is involved, everybody is involved today. So NGOs are there, private players are there. Along with this, is that all? No. You also have civil society organizations are there. You also have charitable trusts are there. You have self-help groups. You have cooperative societies. Like that, the list goes on. Keeps on going. Getting the point here? This keeps on going. In other words, it is difficult to define public administration. From where does it start? Where does it end? You cannot say. You can basically say, okay, government is involved in it, judiciary is involved in it, legislature is involved in it, NGO, private player, civil society, this, that, almost everybody is involved in it. Why? You and I are also involved in it because we are the ones ultimately who will choose the government. Correct? Our votes. Can we include one individual? That is what I told you. If we do the same work, see, again the same point. Even if it is one individual also who is doing the same work, it is the same thing because somewhere it is affecting or benefiting public. See, if I am providing you teaching service, will your management come under public administration? Indirectly, yes. Indirectly, yes. Why I will tell you? Because this again, I am not doing you free service. You have paid for it. And in that payment, the GST is involved. So that is going to the government. Salary is coming to me, for which a tax is getting deducted. That is going to the government. So tax is happening there. Plus, if you actually look at this, providing education, quality education, or creating a conducive environment in the country for online education. Who has done that? Government only, right? If government had not provided proper internet facilities, because back in 2011-12, internet was a luxury. 250 to 300 rupees we had to pay for 1 GB data back then. Today, 250, 300 rupees if you pay, easily you get almost 250 to 300 GB data. Getting the point? So if government had not provided proper electricity lines, proper clearances for online education, etc., then this wouldn't have been possible. So this is also bad. Getting the point here? Anything and everything that you see around you is ultimately public administration. Definitely. See, because without government's knowledge, you cannot carry out any activity, right? Ultimately, you need government clearance if you have to do any activity. If you're not getting the clearance and you're doing it, then it becomes illegal. That is the point here. It automatically ends up becoming illegal. So, now let us look into the definitions now. Organization and direction. Organization and direction of human and material resources to achieve desired ends. Definitely, anything and everything that happens around you, one way or the other, it is public administration. So here if you see, here the definition is what? You're organizing resources. It could be money. It could be minerals. It could be people. You're organizing money and people to achieve something. To achieve a common desired goal. What is desire? To achieve that, when you put people and money together. Resource means it can be any resource. It can be land also. Land as a resource, water as a resource, anything. But here, for ease of understanding, let us keep it as money and people. You're organizing it together to achieve something. Bringing district collectors and money together to achieve what? Swachh Bharat mission targets. PABAD. It is a direction, coordination, and control of many persons to achieve some purpose or objective. To direct the people, coordinate with the people, and control the people. Direct them to do something, coordinate them, that is, make them, bring them together, and control them. Then, in its broadest sense, administration can be defined as the activities of groups cooperating to accomplish common goals. That is, bringing groups together. What are these groups? Private player, NGO, civil society organization, cooperative society, self help group, government, judiciary, legislature, everything. So you're bringing all these groups together to accomplish something. Administration is the organization and use of men and materials to accomplish a purpose. This as well as this, it is the same meaning. Last point, the two special features of administrative activity that distinguishes it from other activities are organization and management. The two special features of administrative activity that distinguishes it from other activities are organization and management. Means what? Organization, when you say, we are talking about the structure of it, or rather, how should I start? Who should be at the top? Who should be at the middle? Who should be at the bottom? That is what you call organization. Management means once the organization starts running, starts working, how will I manage the day-to-day affairs? Once again, organization means what? At the top, who is there? Bottom level, who is there? So if you're talking about districts, etc., we know one thing. In a district, at the district level, at the district level, at the top you have the district collector, IAS officer. At the bottom, generally, you will have whom? You will have the okay, not the Tehsildar. Let's keep the village officer. In between, other ranks are there, but at the top, anyway, you have what? The collector. This is what we call organization. Each level, who is there and who is at the top. Clear? How the whole thing is managed day to day. Village officer will report to Tehsildar. Tehsildar will report to probably the deputy collector or the assistant collector. They will report to the DC. That means there's a clear hierarchy. Village officer cannot directly go and contact the DC. That is not done. You will contact only your immediate superior. Then the superior above. DC has to manage this whole thing. Because in one district, there will be many village officers. There will be many tehsildars. Maybe even 3 to 4 assistant collectors also. Possible. Depending upon the size of the district. So DC has to manage all things. Managing means coordinate all these people, bring them together for what purpose? Coordinate for the district's development. Bringing them all together to coordinate them for district's development, and that is what we call as what? Management. This whole thing is called what? Organization. Any doubts till now? All right. Thinkers like W. of Willoughby identified public administration with all activities of the government in all three branches: legislature, executive, judiciary. We already proved this. It is the introduction class. This is the first class of PubAd. Thinkers like Luther Gulick confined public administration within executive branch of government only. So you were not so wrong also, because many people even today generally associate government with what? Administration. It is true. When the roads are not good, or when there is increased crime in the country, or when there is inflation in the country, we generally blame not the judiciary, not Adani, Ambani. We'll blame straight away the government. So generally, when it comes to, so why government? Because government is the face of public administration. The other things are in the background, be it judiciary, legislature, they all work in the background. Who is held directly responsible for any wrongdoings or any poor performance when it comes to road, law and order, internal security, defense, finance, environment, external affairs, anything you take, ultimately the blame will go only to the government. That is why few thinkers like Luther Gulick also basically told that nothing doing. Public administration is only associated with what? Government. Public administration consists of all those operations having for their purpose the fulfillment or enforcement of public policy. Fulfillment, enforcement. So what is fulfillment and enforcement? Fulfillment and enforcement simply means implementation. That means whatever the government will implement. Correct? True. Government can make any law that they want. But ultimately, how it is implemented at the grassroots level, that is what matters. Public administration consists of doing the work of government, whether it be running X-ray machine in a health laboratory or counting money in the mint. That means, now somebody asked me, sir, then is this also public administration? Yes, I told you yes. That is how it is. From simplest things like maybe running an X-ray machine in a health laboratory to all the way till counting the money that is coming from the mint. Mint is the machine where money is printed. So even that also, if you take, all of that is what? Public administration only. There is no change. Anything and everything where public will be impacted directly or indirectly, all of that is public administration. Whether it is provided by NGO, civil society, doesn't matter. But ultimately, when it comes to fixing responsibility, we generally say what? We generally say we put only government responsible. Clear, people? Any questions? Moving on. Public administration is detailed and systematic application of law. Every particular application of law is an act of administration. कानून जो भी है उसका application. How are you applying it? That is how it is getting implemented. See, that is what I told you. Anything and everything that has to deal with PubAd, that has to deal with public, where public is going to be affected by that policy or by that action, all that will come under public administration. That is the final definition. Anything and everything where public is going to be affected, that will be public administration. That will come under the ambit of public administration. Simple. Every particular application of law is an act of administration. That is, how are you going to implement it? That matters more. You can make any law you want, but how effectively are you implementing it? How effectively are you taking it up? Public administration is policy execution and policy formulation. Public administration is bureaucracy and public administration is public. Means what? So this is where your role starts. So I told you, generally, when things go wrong, people will blame whom? Blame the government. Why? Because why government means, the real reason for that is, when things actually go wrong, generally it is because of what? Very bad bureaucracy. If bureaucracy is doing their job properly, public administration will be functioning well. When bureaucracy is corrupt, when I say bureaucracy, please understand, not just IAS officers. I'm talking about the whole lot of government servants at the central and state level. So when bureaucracy is not doing their job well, people will only blame the government again. Why? Why people are blaming the government? Because a bad bureaucracy will be seen as a inefficient or an incapable government. Government is incapable. Otherwise, they would have transferred these officers. They would have taken action against these officers. So public administration, whenever it is poor, they blame the bureaucracy. They blame the officers, and officers, who is responsible for these officers? The government. Because I didn't vote for the bureaucracy. Vote ke zariye, nobody becomes IAS officer. So government is supposed to be controlling them. Government is not doing the job. Poor roads. Why? Engineers are corrupt. Poor law and order. Why? Police are corrupt. Poor high inflation. Why? Economic policies are not good. So all of this, if you look at it, bureaucracy is linked to it. Or in other words, when we talk about public administration, most of the time people will remember another thing close to it, and that is bureaucracy. Whenever we talk about public administration, bureaucracy comes in automatically. Why? Because it is through the officers that finally execution happens. Execution, implementation, administration, All of these happens through what? Through the bureaucracy only, through the officers only. That is the reason why PubAd and bureaucracy are often used interchangeably. Getting the picture here? So this is one important thing, that is government is associated with public administration. Why? Because the visible part of public administration it is. Road. If the roads are good, I can say, government is doing quite a lot of infrastructural work. The law and order is good. Crime rate is falling down. Then I'll say, government is acting tough on the criminals. But ultimately, if you look there also, it is because the officers are doing a good job, government gets a good name. Officers do a bad job, government gets a bad name. Third possibility is there. Officers are good, but government is not giving them the correct orders. Again, government only will get the bad name. Getting the point here? So, if it is government's job to make nice policies, government is to policy. 1 minute. Government is to policy formulation, then bureaucracy is what? Policy execution. This is how it is. Slight overlap will always be there because government will take feedback from bureaucracy. Government will interact with bureaucracy this way as well as the other way also. Interaction will be there. They will discuss what policy to make, how to implement it, all of that. This is the general idea. Any questions, people? All right. Now we are going to start off with the classical thinkers. So here, classical thinkers, who are these thinkers? This is the list. We'll start off with Woodrow Wilson. Then we'll go to Taylor. Then we'll go to Fayol. Then we have Luther Gulick and Lyndall Urwick. And this gentleman here, Maximilian Karl Emil Weber, popularly known as just Weber. He is our VIP here under classical thinkers. It is not that the others are not so important, but this one or the other way, the points, whatever we will study under Weber, will be useful for us in paper 1 directly, paper 2 indirectly, any which where you want to put it, it will become applicable because he is the one who talked about bureaucracy. Clear, people? So, thinkers, first person, Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson. We'll just do an intro. All right. He is the founder of public administration in USA. Why founder? The public. Aryan Rana. Okay. So, 1800s. Okay. 1800 to 1900. That is basically the 19th century. This was the time period when industrial revolution, etc. had taken place. Trade was growing. Commerce was growing. That means basically lot of activities were happening. So initial days, not just in USA especially, they were only worried about law, making. Law execution was not given much importance, to the extent where they actually thought that execution is easy and it is just clerical work. Basically, what they meant was doesn't require much brains and all. Implementation anybody can do. Making the law is difficult. That is what they thought initial days. But with industrial revolution, trade increased, commerce increased, activity started becoming more and more complex. In such a scenario, when government was clueless what to do, how to carry out the administration now, because new activities were emerging: shipping, trading, export, import, insurance. So many new fields were developing that government also didn't know like what to do here. It was during this time period that Woodrow Wilson came and told, that is, you must understand, this is a zamana where लोग का सोच ये था, अरे एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ये कोई भी काम कर सकता है, कोई क्लर्क को बुलाओ यार. That was a scenario. That is to insult an IAS officer. बस आप इतना ही कहना चाहिए कि ये तो क्लर्क का काम कर रहा है, बैठकर सुबह से लेकर शाम तक फाइल देख रहा है, इसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है. Getting the point here. This was the soch or vichar back in the 1800s. But nobody gave importance to public administration. या फिर we need a separate set of people to carry out execution. Nobody thought about it except Woodrow Wilson. That is why he is given the title of founder or father. And how did it start? In 1887, he wrote an essay, The Study of Administration. That essay is important for that reason, because in that essay, in the study of administration, he clearly told that public administration should be a separate field. It should be a separate field. So, till then how it was? Till then, it was basically Hubbard was actually a sub field of political science. जो लार्जर एक सब्जेक्ट का बस एक छोटा सा हिस्सा था पबैड. So nobody actually gave it any emphasis. Everybody's focus was actually on what? Lawmaking. Very few people focused on law execution, and one of them was actually Woodrow Wilson. So this is why it is considered to be very important. His essay. एक जमाने में जहां कोई किसी ने भी ये नहीं सोचा था कि पबैड का उसका खुद का एक जगह होना चाहिए, उसका खुद का एक इज्जत होना चाहिए. Only Woodrow Wilson thought about it. आगे. His essay marked the beginning of public administration as a subject of public inquiry. Study of administration necessary to correct the political abuses of the spoil system. अब ये क्या है spoil system? स्पॉइल सिस्टम का मतलब है अपने मन चाहते एज वेल एज अपने रिश्तेदारों को गवर्नमेंट के नौकरियां में बिठा दो. बेसिकली सिस्टम ऑफ पैट्रनेज. दैट इज द इंग्लिश वर्ड पैट्रनेज. यू कैन से टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट नेपोटिज्म. ऑल राइट. So that is spoil system. Spoil system means You are appointing people to government jobs based on your personal equation with them, not on no merit, no objectivity. So, Woodrow Wilson felt you take out PubAd from this, make it a separate field. Make it a separate field where you will select people based on merit. You will select people based on merit, pure merit. You will separate them from politics. Keep them separate because politics, when they interfere, there will be some or the other jugad. Some or the other illegal activity can happen. So keep them separate from politics. Then, if these two are ensured, you will have efficiency, you will have economy, and you will have effectiveness. This is what he said when at a time when nobody was thinking about it. That is why he is the father. Clear, people? Wilson thought about the assimilation of European administrative system into American democratic polity. Means assimilation, bringing together European administrative system into American democratic polity. That means bring European ideas into American democratic polity. This is what he told. What ideas should be brought, etc. We will see it in the next class. It's just the first day. I don't want your head to feel a little fried or something. Any questions so far? Any questions? Take down the notes. That's all I can say. As of now, take down the running notes and this PDF will be shared with you. Till here, whatever has been taken along with this writing will be shared with you. Take it down. All right. That is the only thing to do right now. Once the class is over, you can take it down and make notes. Woodrow Wilson heading you give and start writing down points one by one. That is the only thing to do. Nothing else. Don't think too much. It is not just to Vaibhav here, it is to everybody. Don't think too much. Topic is there. What is the heading? Write the points under it. Write the subheadings. Write the subpoints under it. Read it. That's it. That's all you will be doing. Public administration is public. What is the exact meaning of that? Whatever to do with public. Public administration is public means whatever is related to public, whatever जनता से related है, जनता से जो भी मामला related है वो सारा चीज public administration है. That is what it means. Clear till there, Aryan? See, dictating the notes, the thing is, it will take too much of time. It will take too much of time, and 2 hours of class will not be sufficient. So that is the only reason. Too much of time will be required, 3 to 4 hours, etc., which will eat away your this thing also. See, Vaibhav, answer writing tips, there is nothing much. Pull out a previous year question paper and start writing the answer. You start writing it, then I can correct it. There are no tips for it. There is an intro you have to give, body you have to give, conclusion you have to give. That is the only thing. There are no tips. Write it. Don't wait for any auspicious hour to start answer writing, thinking that let me finish this, let me do that. Okay, in your batch's case right now, you have not even finished one thinker. So let the thinker get over, and I will discuss the PYQs associated with the thinker. Then you will get a fair idea. You still want to start answer writing. The best way to start is again to start with GS1 paper. Why GS1? Because it actually contains static topics, history, geography, and some interesting topics like society. Pull out the questions from there and start preparing. Because those are history. One or the other way, you would have studied it in your school. So write the intro, write the body, write the conclusion. Clear? Just a minute. So, newspaper reading. I know it is too early for you people again, but still telling you. AFSPA reimposed in 6 riot-hit areas of Manipur. That is important from a PubAd perspective. That's a very important news. Exports rebound, but October import bills hits new record. Imports have suddenly increased. If you ask me, is that also important? Yes, it is important. All right. Then UP government rolls back decision on key government job exams amid protests. Because of protests, government has took back a decision. Initially, they had gone ahead with it. Now, later, they have taken it back. They have taken a U-turn, basically. Important. So, anything where any act, anything that is economical, anything which is to do with a government action, important from PubAd perspective. BJP leader so-and-so made a statement. Irrelevant. RSS chief made a statement. Irrelevant. Congress chief said something. Irrelevant. That means whatever political news is there, irrelevant. Science and technology also, to a large extent, it is irrelevant. Focus should be on national news, international news, economic news, as far as public administration is concerned. All you need to do is just ask a question to yourself. Will an ordinary man, common man, be affected by this? So, AFSPA reimposed in 6 areas in Manipur. Will a common man be affected? Yes, he will be affected. Import bill increases. Will a common man be affected? Absolutely, yes, common man will be affected. Because import goes on increasing means rupee value will decrease. This you will cover it in your economics class. Third, UP government decides to take a U-turn with regard to government jobs and exams. Will a common aspirant will be affected? Yes. So these news are important. Getting the point here. Always keep the common man in perspective. How will this news affect the common man? Will it affect? If the answer is yes, read the news. If it is not going to affect, skip the news. Clear, people? This is the point. Class timings, we will finalize it. Maybe 2 to 3:30 you can expect from Monday onwards. 2 to 3:30 or 2 to 4. All right. Later, slowly, we will increase the timing. For today, this is what it is. All right, people. So that is what it is. Slowly, I'll be increasing the speed also. All right. So as of now, daily read whatever is discussed. Daily reading. Don't study, daily read. All right. So happy weekend, people. Any other queries are there? You can contact me in the Telegram channel. All right.